Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, Maison African Motives. Still working on O-level mathematics. So in this platform, we are having the question paper which was actually written in the November 2018 session, which is actually our paper 2. So we shall just quickly rush through the questions that were given from this question paper so that we can see how we're supposed to actually answer these questions. Okay, so our section A, guys, as we know that you're supposed to answer all the questions that you're given. So the first part is not that much, it's just simplifying. So you just need to know, guys, how to expand your brackets, collect like terms, then you're done. So what we're supposed to do in this case, we can just expand. Here we've got AX, which is the first part, just going to remain as it is. Then we've got minus X times A, which was supposed to be written as minus XA. But writing minus XA is just the same as writing as minus AX. So this one, since this is written as AX, so I'm just going to write this as minus AX so that I don't confuse myself. The same thing, we put minus X and the minus B. So minus and minus plus is supposed to be BX. All right, then here we've got 2BX, which is already given. So from the concept that we have, these are actually like terms, the same as 1AX minus 1x, 1 minus 1, that says 0 here. Then here we put 1bx plus 2bx. These are the like terms. So 1 plus 2, that is 3. So it is going to give us 3bx. Okay, so that was the case on this one. The item 2, we are given x squared minus 2 minus x squared. So this x minus 2 squared. So that one, you have to expand the brackets. Remember, guys, whenever you give an exponent of 2, that means we've got 2 brackets that you're going to expand. So you can just open 2 brackets, x minus 2 here, x minus 2, whatever that you're going to get, we subtract minus x squared. So that is it. So let us expand our brackets and see, we're going to have x by x here. So this x is going to multiply this x, which is x squared, x by minus 2, which is minus 2x. We're done with x. You move on to minus 2. So it's minus 2 by x, which is minus 2x. Minus 2 by minus 2, that's a plus 4. Whatever that you're going to get, we subtract minus x squared. So collecting like terms, just like the previous part, we've got x squared minus x squared. This is going to give us a 0. So we are left with minus 2 minus 2. That is minus 4x plus 4. So that is what we're supposed to get from this one. I think it was clear. Let us see the B part. Given P is equal to half A plus D into this whole expression. Okay, evaluate P when A is a half this one. So you simply substitute, guys, here. So P, oh, sorry, let me just save this. So P here is equivalent to half of, we now have to substitute here. So this is A plus D. Our A is a half. So it's going to be half plus D, which is 1. Whatever that we have, we open bracket, that is A plus D. So our A, remember, it's a half. So it's going to be half plus D, which is half plus 1. And that's it, like this. So how do I simplify? You can actually do it in a stage by stage way. So we know that here we've got brackets that we have there. So start by expanding the inner bracket. So you're adding 1 half plus a 2. So this one, just use a calculator. This is paper 2, 1 over 2 plus a 1, which is going to give us 1.5, or 3 over 2. So this 3 over 2 here, when multiplied by 1, 1 times any number remains as it is. So it means here we are going to have a half into a half, this one that we have here, plus 1 times 3 over 2, it's going to give us 3 over 2. So here there's no effect. All right, then from there we can actually expand the brackets. That's half. We can add 3 over 2 and a half. So this one, guys, is paper 2. So just add a half here from your calculator direct. You're going to get 2. So that is, you're going to multiply half of 2, which is 1. So you're going to obtain 1 from this one. All right, let's see the other part, expressed as a single fraction in its lowest terms. It's not about expressing as a single fraction, but in its lowest terms. Okay, so what we have here, we have to find the LCM or the LCD of the given denominators, which is x minus 2 and x plus 3. So we've got x minus 2, x plus 3. Okay, so let's do the division, guys. Your LCM here, divide by, so you're going to divide by x minus 2. So as you can see, x minus 2 will cancel, which means you remain with x plus 3. So that means we're going to have x minus 3 in the numerator times what we get here, which is x plus 3, minus We do the same, x plus 3 and x plus 2 will cancel, which means you remain with x minus 2. Here we remain with x plus 2. So it's going to be x plus 2 into x minus 2. All right. So what you're supposed to do definitely was to expand the brackets, whatever that you're going to have, so that you can collect like terms. But this difference of two squares, guys, which is taken from what? From x squared minus 9, as we can see. Also, this is difference of two squares, which is taken from x squared minus 4. But anyways, if you can't see that, therefore, you're supposed to expand. So that is the other way that you're supposed to do anyways. So that is x by x here, which is going to give us x squared, then x by 3 here, which is going to give us plus 3x. We are done with x. We move on to minus 3 by x, that is minus 3x, minus 3 by plus 3, which is a negative 9. We are done, but take note, there's a negative that is going to subtract everything, this negative. So that means this part has to be in a bracket, this one, because it has to be multiplied, the answer, by this minus. So we have to expand the brackets here, x by x, that's x squared, x by negative 2, that is negative 2x. We are done with x. We move on to 2, that's 2 by x here, which is 2x minus 2 by 2, which is a negative 4. Everything, this is subtraction, so the LCM has to be carried up to the last answer, up to the last or the final answer there. Okay. So like I was saying, guys, if you can see the 3x and the 3x can cancel, which means we've got x squared minus 9. So you could have simply taken it from this way, x squared minus 9. But anyways, if you are not able to see that, therefore, that was the only way that you could have done. So whatever that we get here, minus, we do the same here. We have to simplify first. So minus 2 plus 2, that's a 0 here. So you're going to be left with x squared minus 4. So this is x squared minus 4, everything over x minus 2. We have got x plus 3 here. All right, so let us move on and see. Let us expand the brackets. We are going to have x squared minus 9. So this minus now has to affect here. So it's minus and x squared, which is minus x squared minus and a plus, and the minus is going to be a plus 4. Everything over x minus 2 into x plus 3. All right, let's simplify further and see what you're going to have collecting like terms. Here we've got 1x squared minus 1x squared, so this can cancel. You remain with negative 9 plus 4, which is negative 5. So this is going to be negative 5 over x minus 2, x plus 3. So this is what you're supposed to have at the end. So as you can see, guys, it's actually, these are direct questions, but you have to be very, very specific and show clearly you're working, and that can actually help you to achieve all the marks that you're given. All right, then now, the question 2A, we are given the following is a price list for Bright Link Chemical Company. So this is a chemical company that we have. Bright Link Private Limited price list. The floor polish, that is quantity 20 liters. This is the price. Toilet dip, this is 20 liters, the price, and so forth and so forth. Okay, so all these prices, they include 15% value added tax, which is VAT. Remember, whenever you buy, there's a tax which is given. Then NB, promotion, promotion, promotion. So there was a promotion which was going to take place here. Place an order between 1 January and 28 February this year and get 10% discount. So that is on a certain consideration. Okay, so let us see what they are trying to ask us here. Calculate the price of the channel blocks per kilogram. Okay, so you need the price per kg of what? Channel blocks. The channel blocks here, they cost for 5 kgs, as you can see, the channel blocks here, this is your channel block that we are given. It's 5 kgs, the quantity, and the price is $50. So you can take it as a proportion to say 5 kgs from what I'm given corresponds with $50 for 5 kgs. Then the question is per kilogram, which is per kg. So what is a kg going to cost us? We do not know. So that one is going to be less. As we can see here, it's going to be less. So for us to calculate this amount is going to be 1 kg over 5 times the amount of $50. So that will be 5 into 50, which is 10. So this one is going to cost $10 per kg. So each kg is going to be at what? At $10. So what you're supposed to actually take note or to understand is that whatever information that you're given is a simple proportion that you're working with. So you work from that simple proportion concept. I think it can actually help us. All right, so let's see the other part. The value added takes on a 20-liter bucket of what? Take note. We want to know what was the added tax, the value added tax, the VAT. What is the VAT here on a 20-liter bucket floor polish? So, okay, as the major part is to know, okay, what is it that we have on this 20-liter bucket of floor polish? Okay, this is our floor polish here. Let us get back to the diagram, to this table. The floor polish here is being sold in 20-liter buckets. A 20-liter costs $50. Okay, so this is what you're going to take here. A 20-liter bucket here, it is costing $50. Is it? Yeah, $50. Okay, so this is the amount that corresponds to a 20-liter bucket, which is $50. This amount that we see, it includes VAT, because we are given that all prices include 15% value added tax. Now they want you to calculate that VAT. We are saying the VAT that we have here is 15%, which is a VAT. This is value added. It's a tax which was added on a normal price or on the actual price. So the actual price, we are saying what was actually the actual price. This is the question that we are seeing. If we are to know the actual price, therefore you can know the VAT. Okay, at 100%, remember guys, I told you everything starts at 100%. So at 100%, that is where we have the actual price in this case of this 20-liter bucket. But after the tax was added, which is the 15% value added tax, we added 15% to 100%. When we added this 15%, which means we are now at 115%, that is where the bucket, which is a 20-liter bucket, is now costing $50. That is where we are now having this $50. When we are having a 15% increase of that. So our question is to say, what was the actual price therefore? Okay, so using our simple proportion, we can see that the 100 is going to be less. So it is going to be 100 over 115 multiplied by $50 here. All right, so let us just put our calculator and see what we are going to have. Let me just try and drag this side. Okay, if possible, something like this. So it's going to be 100 over 115. Whatever that we get here, we multiply to $50 like this. So this is going to give us 43, something like that. Let me 43,47. Remember, this is money, guys. So your answer is supposed to 2 decimal places. So it's going to be 48. This 47, this 8 is going to change the 7 to 8. So it's 43.48. So this is 43.48, which is the actual price. This is your actual price here. So we are saying the actual price before the VAT was being involved, before we talk about the VAT here, we had it at $43.48. Now we added 15% and we got $50. So what is the VAT? So the VAT actually is going to be the difference between these two, okay? Because we are saying after adding the VAT, the money was now $50, but before the actual price was 43.48. So the VAT here is going to be this difference, $50 minus $43.48. So this is now the value added tax. So from this one, we are going to obtain something like $6.42. Okay, so that was the VAT, which was the one that was given at this condition. So I think it was actually clear. All you need for us to work with much questions, as we can see, guys, to understand what is happening here. Okay, item 3, we are now given that a school ordered the following on the 4th of January on the same promotional year. Okay, so remember, we are given that everything has to, when there's a promotion here, let us get back about the promotion. We are given something about the promotion here. All right, let's see here. NB, promotion, place an order of between 1 January and between, which means in between this, and you are going to get 10% discount from that. You're going to have a discount of 10%. Okay, now let us see what happened. So which means by doing this, this school is going to have a discount of 10%. Discount of 10%. So the school had to order 2 20-liter buckets of flour. So the question is to calculate the total discount. So actually the discount is 10%. So it's going to be 10 over 100 times the total what? Times the total amount. That is your discount. You are not calculating the money that you're going to pay, but what is the discount? Discount is 10%. 10% of what? Of the total. So all you need is to find 10% of the total of what was being bought in this case. Okay, so it's 2 20-liter buckets floor polish. Take note, 2 of them. Okay, but as we know that each 20-liter bucket, it costs what? Each 20-liter bucket, it costs $50, but there are 2 of them. So it is going to be 2 times 50. This is what you're going to have, 2 by 50. Plus we move on here, 1 20-liter container of toilet dip. Okay, so it's a 20-liter toilet dip. This one, toilet dip, 20 liters is $30, and we just bought 1. So it is going to be direct $30. Okay, then we've got 2 20-liter containers of dishwasher. Okay, so this is a dishwasher that we are having, and it's 2 20 liters. Which is the dishwasher here, that is here, is a 20-liter, costs $28, but we bought 2 of them. So it's 2 times what? 2 times 28. So it's plus 2 by 28. All right, so that is what we had in this case here. Actually, it is 2 of them here, guys. 2 20-liter containers of what? Of dishwasher. Okay, then we have got 1 20-liter container of sanitizer. Okay, so this is 1 20-liter, so it's just like multiplying by 1 times what? The 20-liter sanitizer. Let us see about the sanitizer. The 20-liter for sanitizer here is at $28. So you're going to multiply to $28. Then we've got 3 5 kg boxes of charcoal. So these are 3, okay, 5 kgs. So you let us see how our charcoal is measured. The channel blocks, they are being 5 kg, so it's 3 times 50 there. So it's going to be 3 by 50. All right, so this is going to give us $3 by $50. So this is what we are going to have in this case. Okay, so all the information is directly given. So what is going to be the 10% of this? So the 10% is going to be of 2 by 50, which is 100, plus 30, plus 2 by 28, which is 56, plus 28, plus 3 by 50, which is 150. All right, so what you're going to do is to add everything. So it's 10% off. I'm just going to add everything here. I hope it's going to be clear. So you said 100 plus 30, that one is 130 here. So it's 100. Okay, let me just add plus 30 plus 56 plus 28 plus 150. This is going to give us 364. All right, so this is going to give us 364 here. Okay, let me just save it this way, 364. All right, so if we multiply by 10% here, 10 over 100 of this 64, what are you going to have at the end? So it's 10. This is paper 2, guys. Try to also use your calculator. Okay, so it's 10 over 100 times 64. 10 over 100 by 364. Sorry, this is 364, which is as a decimal, that's 36,4. So you're going to obtain 36,4. But remember, this is money, so it's supposed to be 1 decimal place after the comma. So that one is going to give us $36.40 as our total discount. Or what you're going to do is to calculate the discount of each and every thing that you bought, then you add the discounts. But here, just calculate the total, because this is the total amount. Then from the total amount, what was the total discount? That was the idea there. Okay, so that was it. B, a man invested $400. Take note of what is happening. A man invested $400 in a bank. that offers 3% per annum compound interest. Calculate the total amount you would get at the end of 3 years. So this is compound interest. Okay, guys, for compound interest, I want you to know this. Whenever you're dealing with compound interest, you are supposed to use this formula. The compound interest, we are saying it is equivalent. Actually, it's not like the compound interest equivalent, but the formula that you use to obtain the amount is equivalent to P into 1 plus the interest rate, which is the I over to the exponent of n, which is the number of years. So this I is the interest rate, or some they use it as R over 100%, like the rate, it's just the interest rate, guys. The n is the percentage, like the number of years or that you're going to take. Okay, so here you're asked to calculate the total amount, which is this A, is the one that you want to calculate. So your amount is going to be P, which is the principal, and then invested. Remember, principal is the money invested. So you invested $400 into a bank, which gives an interest. This is the compound interest of what? 3% per annum. So the 3% is a percentage. So how do you remove percentage? You divide by 100. So it's going to be 1 plus 3 over 100 to the exponent of n, which is the number of years, the time which was taken. And how many years is that? We're talking of 3 years, so it's to the exponent of 3. So that is the consideration of what you're going to have in this case. So if you have to simplify, this is going to be 400 by, we can just add these two inside the bracket. That is 1 plus 3 over 100. Let's see from our calculator, it's going to be 1,03. So it's going to be 1,03 to the exponent of 3. Okay, so 1,03 to the exponent of 3 multiplied 400. So it's going to be something of this nature. All right, sorry guys, I need to extend. I just need to shift this a little bit. Okay, it's fine. So it's a 400. I'm just going to use it here. 400 by, just open a bracket, 1.03 to the exponent of what? To the power of 3 there. So it's 437.09. So remember, this 0 cannot change. Remember to 2 decimal place. So it is going to give us $437.09 if you round off properly. So this is the total amount after 3 years that is going to have in the bank account. So that was actually the consideration whenever you're dealing with a compound interest. Know your formula and how to substitute on your formula. Okay, the 3A item 1, solve the inequality. Okay, so for inequalities, guys, remember I told that you have to divide these into 2. So we have the 2 inequalities, but you divide into the from the middle term here, which is 5x plus 2. This is the middle term, 5x plus 2. So that's how you divide it. So which means we are going to take the first part of 4x minus 2 is less than or equal to 5x plus 2. And the other one is going to be from the middle term, which is 5x plus 2 less than 2x plus 8, like that. So we are separating these two inequalities. Okay, so from the first one, we can solve. How are you going to solve? We can just transpose here the 4x to this side, the 2 to the other side of the inequality. So it's going to be minus 2 minus 2. Remember, it was a plus 2. To this side is going to be minus 2, less or equal to 5x. 4x to this side is going to be negative 4x. So what I'm trying to avoid is to work with x as a negative. I'm just avoiding to have my x as a negative value. So, but you can work anyway, guys, it's fine. Minus 2 minus 2, that is minus 4 is less than or equal to 5. Minus 4, that's 1x. So this is x. Okay, so we move on to the other one. We have to solve this. Transpose, avoid negatives. So I'm going to transpose that negative, the 2x to this side so that it can be a negative. So it's going to be 5x minus 2x is less than 8. Transpose the 2 to this side is going to be minus 2. So let's subtract 5 minus 2, that is 3. So it's going to give us 3x is less than 6. So you can divide by 3 here. So our x is less than 3 into 6, that is 2. So now we've got two answers that we are going to have, x which is less than 2 and the x which is greater than or equal to minus 4. So how are you going to combine? Take note, we are already given the format here that x is greater than or equal to a, but less than b. So that's our x is less than or equal to here, less or equal to what? Greater or equal to, sorry, minus 4. So our x is greater or equal to minus 4. But the same x that we're talking about is less than 2. So this is less than b. So our x is less than 2. So we've got everything there. Then illustrate the answer on a number line. So how do I illustrate on a number line? So number line, guys, remember this, you've got -2. So you're just going to have something like this. The important values is from -4. So we've got -4, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1 up to 2. All right, so at -4, it is greater than or equal to -4. So you're going to shade at -4. At 2, it's less than, so you do not shade, just combine these. I remember, I think, guys, this one we are now used to 2. All right, so if represented on a number line. So where there is an equal to like this, you shade that part, that circle. Okay, so I think this part we talked about it. B, make x to be the subject. So what do I have to do? Okay, everything that has got x is being covered by this square root. So how do I remove this square root? Just square both sides. To remove the square root, I'm going to square both sides. So it's now r squared is equal to what? By just squaring both sides, I'm removing the what? I'm removing the square root. So by removing this square root, what am I going to remain with? I'm going to remain with ax here minus p over, this is going to give us q plus bx. So it's going to be q plus bx like this. So how now are we going to solve for x? Well, solving for x is to make x to be the subject. So I can simply divide, both this one is same as of 1. So I can cross multiply to remove the bracket, to remove the fractions. All right, so let's cross multiply. It's going to be r squared into q plus bx, which is equivalent to 1 times ax minus p. So expand brackets now by multiplying here by r squared. So it's r squared by q, which is r squared q. R squared by bx is going to be r squared bx, which is equal to 1 times ax, which is ax, 1 by negative p, which is negative p. Okay, this stage, what are you going to do? We have got x here, we've got x here, so collect like terms. By doing what? By transposing, definitely. So you have to transpose the x to the x, then the other part to the other part. So it depends with how are you going to collect your terms. Are you going to put them on the left side or on the right side? So it actually depends with you guys. But just avoiding working with negative situations, guys. Avoid working with negative situations. So how do I avoid that? I'm just going to take the negative p to this side of the equation. So that here it is going to be r squared, all right? So it is going to be r squared q. The minus p to this side is going to be a plus p, okay? Which is equal to, already here, I'm having ax. So if I transpose, then r squared bx to this side is going to be a minus. So this one will be a minus r squared bx. Take note, guys, you could have transposed it this way. You could have maybe remained with this one, with r squared bx on this side, r squared bx, then you transpose this ax to this side, it was going to be minus ax, which is equal to, already here, you are having negative p, okay? You are having negative p. You transpose the r squared q to that side, so it's going to be minus r squared q. This was another way, or you could have done it this way. So it's up to you guys. But either way, you have to factor out both x is common. So you're going to factor out x here. Okay, let me just change this here. So you're supposed to factor out this x because it's common. So if I factor out, remove x here, I remain with a minus r squared b. Here is just the same r squared q plus p. So to find x, definitely divide by the bracket so that this can cancel out. Divide by the bracket of a minus r squared b, so that this can also cancel out. So that is the case here. So that means this can cancel out. So therefore our x is going to be the whole of this part here, which is r squared q plus p over a minus r squared b. So that was the case. So like I said, it depends. If it was this way on the other side, you're going to do the same here. X is common, so you're supposed to factor out x, then you remain with r squared b minus a, which is equal to minus p minus r squared q. Then we can divide by r squared b minus a divide by r squared b minus a. So this can actually cancel. So therefore your x was going to be the whole of this part that you actually see on this part here. This was going to be your x. So these two, they're actually the same. It's just the presentation, but they mean one and the same thing. So don't panic about that one, or don't be confused about that one. It's actually one and the same thing. All right. So anyways, let us see the other part, what you're given. Item C, factorize. Okay, factorize completely. What type of an expression is this one? What do we have there? Okay, so that was the question. Okay, anyways, I'm cross-checking to see that, okay, M is common. So first things first, M is common throughout. We've got M here, we've got M, we've got M. So factor out that M. So if I factor out this M, I'm going to be left with, if I remove this M, there are 3 of them. So if I remove one, I'm going to be left with 2 of them. So it's going to be 2m squared, n squared. Here there are 2 of them. So if I remove one, I'm going to be left with 1m. So it's going to be 3mn minus, here's only 1. So if I remove that m, I'm going to be just left with 2. So this is what I'm going to be left with. But am I done? No, I'm not done, because this is a quadratic expression that you're now left with. How do you factorize the quadratic expression, guys? Always know that if the coefficient of the first term is not 1, therefore you are forced to do the longer way of factorization, where you multiply the first term to the last term. Take note on this one, first term and the last term. So it's 2 by negative 2, which is negative 4m squared n squared. So what we need here are the factors of what? Of minus 4m squared n squared. Find factors first. What are the factors? But these factors, if you add them, they must give you this middle term now, which is 3mn, and it's a plus. So we've got a 4mn and minus mn. If I multiply this, I get negative 4. If I add, I get positive 3. So these are the numbers that I need, 4 and what? 4 and minus 1. Take note, guys. Take note about this one. Okay, so with these vectors, we're going to replace them in the middle term. So on the middle term here, we got 2m squared, n squared. Then in place of this middle term, you're going to substitute now those 2 terms that you got, which is 2mn minus mn. Okay, minus 2 like that. So how am I going to do it? Factor out what is common for the first 2 terms here. So we've got m. If we had to divide this into 2 like this, we've got mn is common here, 2mn actually. So we've got 2mn. If I factor out 2mn, 2 and 2 cancel, m and m, n. So I'm going to be left with mn plus 2mn, 2mn cancel. So I'm going to be left with 1. Okay, what about this part? What is common that we can actually factor out in this case, so that these two will be the same? Are we going to have the same thing here, guys? Because this one is not going to give us what we actually need here in this case. So I'm going to cross check here. All right, this was a 4 here. Okay, now it can make sense, because I was actually surprised. What is happening? This is 4, guys. I hope someone saw this. Say, what is happening? Remember, we said 4mn. So this is 4. So if we factor out the 2, here is going to be 2. Now it can make sense. All right. So what are we going to do so that these 2 brackets will be the same? I'm going to factor out a negative here. So it's negative 1. Then minus mn and minus 1, that's a positive mn. Minus 2 and minus 1 is a plus 2. So the brackets are the same. Yes, the brackets are the same. So what do we do if the brackets are the same? I just have to factor out that bracket. So I've got, take note, the m that is outside of the brackets is still there up to the final answer. So remember, you factor out the common bracket, which is mn plus 2. What do we remain with? We remain with 2mn minus 1, just like this. So that was going to be our answer. So it was actually something of a straining type of a question, but not that much. You just have to work on your questions, guys. Work on your questions, revise your questions. I think it can actually work. All right, so let's see the other part of the question. That was actually part 4, which is a construction type of a question. Answer all of these questions below. Use ruler and compasses or construction, whatever that you're going to have. So where is the question? Let's see the question now. So on our question, we are given mark the point, which means the question is still here. All right, I'm gonna, okay, yes, here the question is, all right, here our question is here. Construct triangle ABC with ABC 45. All right, this and that is, okay, so we need a sketch here, guys, so that we can do our construction. So I don't know what we can do so that it can be clear. Okay, we can just do our sketch here. Let's try. to work this out. It's A, B, C, and we've got an angle 45 degrees at what? At B. So I'm just gonna have so this one is just a triangle, guys. This is a sketch. All right, so this is just a sketch here. So our triangle is A, B, C. Take note the angle has to be at the base of B, 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 B. So the B here. So I'm going to have my B here is 45 degrees. So that's it here. We've got our 45 degrees. Okay. From B to C, 6,5. So we're going to have 6,5 centimeters. A to B is 6 centimeters. An easy sketch actually. So that's it. Let us have our construction tools so that we can be able to do the constructions that we are being asked here. I think this one is a nice question. Actually, there's nothing much. All right, so for the meantime, let me just put this one aside here. Okay, remember guys, your construction, I always say, let it start from what? From a straight line. So I'm going to start from a straight line here. So this is where I'm going to do my construction. I'm going to do them here on this line. All right, so from the line, we need 2 points. We need a point first, a reference point. That's your point A, B. So I'm going to start with the point B, which is my reference point. So this will be my reference point. Let me just introduce for construction purpose. All right, so like this, we have got our point, which we are going to refer as B. So that is where our B is to be located here. But from this B to C, we've got 6,5 centimeters and also 45. So maybe you can measure the distance. Okay, 6,5. So you measure on your ruler, but according to me, this is my 6,5 here. That's where I'm going to have my 6,5. But on yours is going to be a little bit bigger than what I'm having here. So you've got 6,5 from B to C. This is your C. The distance in between is 6,5 centimeters. Okay. Now from B, we are supposed to have 45 degrees. How do we get 45? Definitely, guys, we need 90 degrees so that we can bisect that 90, so that we can have 45 here. So let us say for 90 degrees. Remember, how do you construct 90 degrees from a point? I told you guys you have to mark 2 points from that point that you're going to have as your reference point, one on the right and another one on the left. From those 2 points that you have marked, open more than half from those 2 points, mark an arc on top and another arc below. But here, there's no need to just have to mark an arc on top because already there's a reference point, which is B. So already 2 points are enough for you to join to give an angle. So you just need to join back to that arc on top here. All right, so we've got our 90 degrees. Then we can actually join this here. You can actually join and see what you're going to have, something of this nature. Okay, so this 90 is just something that is helping me to find the angle that I need to construct later. Also, I'm just going to have this with a broken line, the 90 degrees in a broken line. Then the exact angle that I need now, I have to bisect this angle. So this one, okay, let's bisect. Remember how you bisect your angle, guys. From that angle that you have, just have to mark 2 points from the line. Okay, and make sure that you mark on visible points. So I'm just going to mark an arc here. From the center of B, I have to mark an arc on this side and another arc on this side. Okay, so from these 2 arcs, without changing the distance, mark an arc inside the region where you want to bisect the angle that is somewhere here. And also from this one, without changing the length, don't change this length, mark an arc also this side. Okay, something like this. So that's our 45 degrees. So from this angle, we are now able to actually join whatever that you're going to have here. Okay, so let me try to extend this ruler. Okay, so I'm going to join these 2 now from this point. All right, so that means this line that I am having is the one that is giving me 45 degrees. So that's our 45 degrees, guys. From this point B, this angle that we are going to have here is 45 degrees. All right, then what else are we going to have now? So we have got B to C, which is 6 centimeters. But along this B to A, it's 6 centimeters. So you're going to simply measure 6 centimeters on your ruler. This is, for me, 6 centimeters, something like this. All right. So you're going to measure 6 centimeters. Then from B, mark from B across the line, that is across this line, okay? Mark a point where you're going to use now as your reference point to indicate where A is situated. So this is where our A is going to be situated at this point. So if truly our A is situated at this point, what am I going to simply do? I'm going to have to join from C to A so that I can complete the triangle now. So it's a matter of completing our triangle. So on your triangle is going to be bigger than what you are seeing here. It's going to be actually bigger than what you see here. It's just for you to see what was going to happen later on. Okay, so that was going to be our diagram. So in this case, as for me, guys, I'm just going to remove this part so that it can be at least nicer, but you're not supposed to do this. Okay, here, that was the triangle, as you can see, guys. So remember, this was 6 centimeters. Guys, this was 6,5, the first one. Okay, this was 6,5, guys, this one. It was 6,5 centimeters. Then this is the one which is what? 6 centimeters, 6,5 and 6. Okay, so that was what our triangle was going to look like at the end. So I just hope we understand the concept. Okay, so let's see the other part of the question now. From this question that we have from the triangle, we are now asked on B, construct the locus of points 4 centimeters from A. So A, guys, it's a fixed point. So I told you whenever you're given a fixed point, that one is going to be a circle. From a fixed point, you're going to produce a circle. So it's from A. So from A, you measure 4 centimeters. So according to me, 4 centimeters, it's this one. All right, so that's my 4 centimeters here. So I'm going to be at point A. So let us just put this down. All right, a little bit. Okay, so this is at A here. So I'm going to construct 4 centimeters from A. All right, so I'm at A, I've got 4 centimeters. So now I can be able to construct something like this. So that is 4 centimeters from A. All right, let's see the other part of the question now. Bisect BCA. Okay, so this one is bisect. We are dividing angle BCA. So we need angle C. So let us get to angle C. This is our angle C. We want to bisect this angle. So take note, guys, how you bisect an angle. You are supposed to mark points, actually 2 points. Okay, guys, sorry for this part here. I knew it's going to affect like this one, actually. All right, so let me see what I can do. All right, we are back. Yes, we are back, guys. Sorry for that. So at point C, this is where you're supposed to bisect C. So remember that you just have to mark 2 points from this C, just on your lines that you're going to have. That is from A to C. Mark an arc here on this line. Then from the other part also mark an arc on this side here. All right, so with these 2 arcs that we have, we are going to now bisect from the arcs that we have. So you're going to mark from this arc here without changing the distance, but now you have to construct inside the shape that is somewhere here, construct an arc. All right, from the other point here, also do the same, construct an arc. So as you can see, they are going to meet at a certain point. These arcs here, they've met here. So join the point of intersection back to C. So that is the idea here. So you have to join this back to our point C. All right, that's something of this nature. Okay, I wanted to rotate also from this side. So it's going to be something of this nature here. Okay, so join the given lines that you're going to have at the end. So you're just going to join to C. Okay, so we have bisected angle C. So to bisect angle C means we have divided this angle C into 2 equal parts. That is what it means. But our part was just to bisect. So leave it like that, you are done. Okay, so let us see the other part of the question. What are we given? All right, so this part here we are done. Let's see on the other page what we are actually given. Okay, so here we're now asked to mark and label x1 and x2, the points that are the bisector, so that the bisector of that angle, and they are 4 centimeters from A. Remember, 4 centimeters from A was a circle, and there was an angle bisector. So you need where the circle and the angle bisector meet. That is where we've got x1 and x2. So where are we going to have this x1 and x2? We have got this point, our angle bisector, and the circle at this point, angle bisector and the circle at this point. So you mark them like this, then you can name them x1, and this one is going to be x2. So that is what you're simply doing, x1 and x2, whatever way, but you have to name one x1 and the other one x2. Okay, then we move on to the other part. Describe the locus. So guys, I told you whenever you're given to describe the locus, you have to answer with the locus, the theorem that you have, which represents the bisector. So which locus talked about, or which refers to the bisect, or how to bisect an angle. So we bisected angle BCA. This is our BCA. So remember, guys, I told you that this one, it is going to be the locus of points equidistant from the lines that are giving us what? The lines that are giving us the angle C. So you can write this one as it was actually item what? Item C or item, so it was E. Okay, so this one, it is the locus. That is what you have now, the locus of points, equidistant from now. So we are talking about the sides which are from. So we are talking about angle C. So we are talking about the side CA and side CB, or it can be AC, from AC and CB and CB. So make sure that C has to repeat because it's the one that you're bisecting. So it can be BC and CA, whatever that you're going to have, but make sure that the C there is the major part that we are talking about. So that is actually the key point that you're supposed to have. Anyways, let us see the other part of the question, which is now question 5. It is given that the universal set is of elements from 1 up to 10. So take note, it is starting direct at 1 because it's greater than or equal to 1, less than or equal to 10, and x is an integer, which means we're talking about positive numbers. And we've got subsets A and B such that A is a perfect square, B, these are multiples of 10. All right, so the first thing is to know, since we're talking about numbers from 1 up to 10, so which means our universal set is going to be of elements 1 up to 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, up to 10. So this is your universal set actually. Okay, then the A is a set of perfect squares. So it's just us to know, guys. Perfect squares from 1 up to 10, we're talking about 1. Square root of 1 is plus or minus 1 is a square. So we've got 1, we have got 4 and 9. So these are the perfect squares that we have. What about our B? We are given that this B is, these are multiples of 4. So we talk about 4, 8, 12, something like that. So we've got 4, 8, according to this set, because we're talking about numbers in between to 10. So we've got 4 and what? 4 and 8. So that is what we have. So the first part was to list all the elements in set A. So already this is our set A. We have listed the elements in set A. We said it's 1, 4, and what? And 9. So that was it. Then list all the elements. Take note, you are listing the elements of A intersection B. So this is your A, this is your B. What we have at the intersection? So at the intersection, we only have 4. So A intersection B is just 4. This is what we have in this set. So it's just going to be the element 4. Then find the number of elements in A union B. So here, guys, we are finding the number to say how many elements are there in this set. That is the number of elements. You are referring to the elements in the set. How many are they? So the first thing is for you to know your A union B first. So this is A and B. So what is our A union B? If we are to combine union, it's combining combination of what? Of the elements together. So we've got 1. We have got 4. 4 is repeating. We've got 4 here, we've got 4. So don't repeat, just write it once. We have got 8. We have got 9. These are the elements that we have when you combine A and B. So how many are they? 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is the answer that you're going to write. So the number of elements here, they are 4. That is what we are asked to do. Okay, so then the other part of the question, let us see. B, it is given that P is a subset of Q and Q is a subset of R. So guys, what does this part mean? When we are given that P is a subset, it means P is being contained by Q. It's a subset like this. We have got P and Q. That is what it means. So this is your Q. This is P. So P is a subset of Q. The Q that we are talking about is also a subset of R. So this Q that we are talking about is a subset of another set which is called R. So that is what we are now given. So the question is draw the Venn diagram to show all the three sets. So what does it mean, guys? Remember previously that Q, it contains P, but this Q is, it is contained like by R. I would like to say R is the major set. So which means we are going to have our set R as the major set, which is going to be having set Q. So this one, it is going to give us set Q, but the set Q, it also has P inside. So it is going to be having P like this. Take note, R, it contains Q, but being this part of Q, the Q that we are talking about is also being affected by what? By P, because P is inside of Q. So that's how we are going to have this one at the end. So we can actually have our information written down. This can actually help. So let me so that means our R there is the major set which contains everything, then containing Q, and the same Q contains P, just like that. So P is a subset of Q, Q is a subset of R, like that. So actually this one, it was a play around type of a question that they wanted you to know or to understand. Okay, then the last part is now item 2. Write down the set notation. That is the relationship between P and set what and set R. What is the relationship between P and R? So since P is a subset of Q and the Q is a subset of, it means this P is also a subset. It's contained by R. So this P is going to remain as a subset of R, just because Q is a subset of R and the P was a subset of that one. Like the R is depending, is acting as a mother set of those sets, but not like the mother set of everything, but for the sets P, for the sets P and what and the Q, R is acting as a mother set from those two. Okay, anyways, we are now given probability on the B part. A bag contains 10 patterns that are identical except for color. 7 of the patterns are red and 3 are blue. 2 patterns are drawn. Take note, 2 patterns, they are being drawn here, one after they talk about 2 of them, one after that without replacement. So that is what we see here. So this is actually the first pick here. We've got R and B here. So this is your first pick, and this becomes our second pick. That is what is, but take note, it's without replacement. So the first part is 7 over 10, 3 over 10. As you can see, red, it was 7. Then the blue is what? 3. So let us continue with the red one. The red, we picked the red, there were 7 out of 10. Now there are 6. We are now left with 6 out of 9. What about the blue? The blue is not going to both. This is the branch for red. We picked red, which means blue is going to remain as it is, as 3. But we only affected its total. So it's going to be 3 out of 9. On this branch, you picked a blue one, then you pick another blue. So they are going to be 2 because there were 3. Now you are left with the 2 out of 9. And the red is not going to be affected. The red is going to remain as it was. The red, it was what? 7. So it's going to remain like that. But we only affected the total. So it's going to be 7 over 9. There is no replacement there without replacement. So take note about this part. So the question was for you to complete the probability diagram. Also on completing, you also note the outcomes. This one is going to be a red, red here, R and R, red, 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 blue. This one is blue to red and blue to blue. Okay, so I think this part is done. Let us see the other part. Item 2, find the probability now that both buttons are red. So I talk about a condition. We've got 2 red here, both, which means this one R. So this is the probability of red, red. Both are red. So what is the first red? That is now what you're asking the question. So the first red is 7 over 10. So it's 7 over 10 times the second red. The second red is 6 over 9. So this is now you and your calculator. To simplify this, 7 over 10. Whatever that we have here, we multiply to 6 over 9. What are we going to get at the end? That's 7 over 15. So this is going to give us 7 over 15. All right, the other part we are given, find the probability that at least one of the patterns is red, at least one is red. So we need where there is a red, whenever we see a red. So this type of equation, guys, where at least we've got, I want you to see what was going to happen here. At least we've got a red, this was going to happen. Okay, at least a red, which means we just need where there is red. We are talking about this one, red, 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 blue, blue, red. These were the outcomes that we're going to take. So which means our answer was going to be probability of what? Red, red, plus the probability of red, blue, plus the probability of blue, red. But instead of taking all these, which I mean, what can I do? Since we are just left with this blue, blue, which is just, the one that is just left, what am I going to take from there? I'm going to take this blue one and subtract, for both. I know that the whole probability is supposed to be equal to 1. So to pick at least red, I'm just going to have 1 minus the probability of picking blue, blue, just like that. I'm done. Because I do not want this blue, I need all these which are remaining. So to remove this one, just subtract from 1. So it's 1 minus the probability of picking blue, blue is what? 3 over 10 multiplied by the other blue is 2 over 9, just like that. So it's going to be 1 minus, let's see, 3 over 10. So it's going to be 3 over 10 multiplied by 2 over 9, multiplied by 2 over 9, which is something like 1 over 15. So we subtract from 1, and this is going to be 14 over 15, if I'm not mistaken here. Okay, but if you are to use this longer way, then it's fine, you have to apply it, but already red, red, remember you calculated red, red here, you got 7 over 15. So this one, you've got 7 over 15 plus red, blue. This is red to blue, which is 7 over 10 times 3 over 9, 3 over 9, whatever that you're going to add, you add to blue, red, which is 3, this one, blue to red, this one. So it's 3 over 10 times 7 over 9. So from this, you can actually obtain the same answer. So I want you to try that one and see. So you work each one separately, then you combine the terms. All right. So you're going to obtain the same answer, which is 14 over 50. You must obtain the same answer there. All right. So let's see the other part, which is now question 6. So on question 6, that is where our section B is now starting. It's now starting a section B, because remember, you answer 4 questions from there. All right. So they were given as at a soccer match. We are having a soccer match. A boy conducted a survey about the age of vehicles that were parked at a stadium. The information is displayed in the information and the following table. We have got age X, then the number of vehicles. Okay, calculate an estimate of the mean age of the vehicles. Okay, as I talked about the mean, I talked about the mean, and I told you whenever you're dealing with mean, you work with the class center, which is the midpoints of what of the given information. The class center times frequency class, this is your frequency here, all right? The number of vehicles, this one, this is your frequency. So you need the class center of each. What is the class center from 0 to 5? So how do you find the class center? I told you, you add the lower class to the upper class, then you simply divide by 2. That's what you simply need. I need to move this calculator aside now. It's being disturbed by the Zoom application, which is, okay, let me move it this way. All right. So what I'm simply saying is that you have to calculate for each the class center, okay? Remember, the class center is equal to the lower class plus the upper class divided by 2. So the first one is 0 to 5. So you simply add 0 plus 5. Okay, whatever that you get, you divide by 2, which is 5 over 2 or 2,5. So here the class center is going to be 2,5. The same thing here, you've got your class center, 5 plus this, you're going to obtain 7,5. Each and every one is going to be having the class center, each and every class. Okay, so the mean now, it is going to be what? Class center times frequency. So it's going to be the frequency or class center of 2,5 times the frequency of 10. Class, we move on from 5 to 10, it's 7,5. 7,5 times 12, which is the frequency. Guys, you do this up to the last one, 10 to 15, which is 12,5. You calculate properly. 12,5 times 37. plus 15 to this one. If you calculate properly, 7,5 times 51. Plus 20 to 25 is going to be 22,5. So calculate properly is going to be 22,5 multiplied by the frequency, which is 10. Everything over the total frequency. So the total frequency is now, are we given the total number, a score, conducted age, that, so you're not given the total. So which means you are supposed to add, since you're not given the total, you're supposed to add these numbers. That's 10. Okay, let's just write 10 plus 12 plus 37 plus 51 plus 10. Okay, so you're going to indicate that because you're not given the total. Okay, so from there, what I want you to do is to simplify everything, add the numbers, or so you can multiply 2,5 times 10, which is 25, plus 7,5 times 12. What do we have here? 7.5. Okay, 7.5 by 12. Okay, which is 90. So you're going to obtain 90 here. Okay, plus 90. 12,5 times 7. So it's 12,5, 12.5 times 37, which is going to be 462,5. So it's 462,5 plus 17,5 times 51, 17.5 times 51. This will be 892,5, 892,5 plus 225 there, because times 10 is going to be 225. Okay, that is what you're going to have over the total. So remember, we have to add everything there. So you're going to add 10 plus 12 plus 37 plus 51 plus 10, you add all these totals, and it's gonna be 120. So this is 120. So on the numerator, you have to add everything. So if you add, guys, they are going to obtain something like 1,695 over 120. And this you can just use your calculator. 1,695 divided by 120, 695. All right, divide by 120. So you're going to divide by 120. All right, so this is what you're going to get, or you can write it as a decimal, 14,125. So this is going to be 14,125. That is our mean, or we can write it as a mixed, which is 14 and 1 over 8. So it can be 14 and 1 over 8 also, and depend with how you want to write it, but it was actually direct there. All right, so let's see the other part now. The same information of the survey is displayed in the following cumulative frequency table. Remember, guys, it's a cumulative frequency table where I actually told you cumulative, you just add from one frequency to another. So you started with 5. These are the upper classes that you see here on top. Remember, these are the upper classes, and there's cumulative you add. So the first frequency here was at what? At 10. So it's 10 plus 12, which is this 22 that we see. So to find this n is going to be 22 plus the next frequency, which is 37. Okay, so this n that we see here is simply 22 plus 37. So 22 plus 37, which is something like 59. So that was our n here, which is 59. Okay, so let's see the other part now. Draw the cumulative frequency curve on the grid using a scale of 2 centimeters to represent 5 years on the edge axis. Remember the edge, that is the horizontal. And on the cumulative frequency, you are now using what? 2 centimeters to represent 20 units. Okay, so this one has to be a smooth curve and something like so. Because of this graph is not clear, so I have made another sketch here according to that information. So you're just going to work from there. All right, so this is our graph, guys. I don't know if it is going to be clear, but according to this part that we see, what does it mean? We have to understand our graph. So this one, each box, like 1, we need to know the scale of representing 1. So what you do, understand your scale. So in this case, I want us to see what is happening here. 2 boxes are representing 1. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And on the vertical here, which is on your cumulative frequency, it's actually 2, 4, 6. So it will be 2, 4, 6 up to 20. Okay, so now we understand. Now let us mark our points. So since these graphs, like this part we have this part. Okay, I just wanted to remove something. Let me just remove it so that. All right, so you're going back to your table, this one. This is the table that you're given, and this is one that you do not use this one that we have. This is just for the frequencies. Whenever you are drawing a cumulative frequency, you are supposed to use the cumulative frequency table. But if you are to cross-check on your cumulative frequency table, what was actually happening was that you were given upper classes and this lower class was not involved. Remember, guys, I told you that you're supposed to include the lower class also on the first class so that that will be at 0 so that this one can start a class. So what you're going to do is that you're going to have an extension here of also x less than 0 being at 0 so that your graph is going to start from the ground. But this one you're given from 5. So it is going to be 0, 0, 5, 10, and so on and so on and so on. Okay, so the first one, we said is going to be 0 versus 0. Then the other one, 5 versus 10. I just hope it's going to not affect time. So this is 0, 0 here. Then we've got 5 versus 10. So 10 is in between 0 and 20. So it's going to be 5 versus 10. We mark all these points up to the last one. So let us move and see. The other one is only that our this paper, guys, is actually far. So let us cross-check another one. So that is 10 versus 22. 10 versus 22. All right, that is 10 and 22 here. 20, remember I said each box there is 2, so it's 10, this is 20, then this is 22, just one box after 20, that is 22. All right, so let's see the other one. 15 versus 59, so this is 15 and 59. So 15 here, then 59, okay, this is 58. So 59 is just going to be somewhere in between there. We do not know exactly, but somewhere around that point. That is where you're going to have your 59. So let's cross-check another one. All right, let's see the other one of 20 versus 110. So it's 20, 110. Then this one is 25, not 20, not 5, but this is 25 versus 120. Okay, so 20 and 110, 20 here, this is our 20, then 110. We actually have those values here, guys. Let us just see what we are going to have, because we need actually 110. This is 80, 100 here. Remember, it's 2020, so it's going to be 100. Then 120 is supposed to be somewhere here. This is where you're supposed to have our 120 here. Okay, but we need 20 versus 110. So actually it's in between 100 and 120, but it's at 20. So it's going to be 20 here. Then 110, just in between 100 and 120. Okay, the last one, it was 25 and 120. So it's 25 here direct and 120 at that point. Okay, so these are the points actually that we're going to have at this stage. So from this part, we can actually join smooth curve. Actually, it can give us the exact thing that we need here. So just have a smooth curve on that point. So here, because of this, I'm not going to have that smooth curve, but you're supposed to draw something which is actually smooth here, joining your points to the last one. Okay, something of that nature, something of this. Okay, so that's your cumulative frequency curve, the one that you're having at the end. So it depends with your graph, guys, how you're going to, but let it be smooth and not glossy so that it doesn't affect your answers from what you be given. Okay, so that is the idea then. We have got the other part, which is C, where we're now asked to use the graph to find the median age. So median is half the distribution. Well, half of the distribution, our distribution, it ends at 120. The total cumulative frequency here is at 120. Where do we have it? Here. on the table. That's the total cumulative frequency of 120. So it's half of this value, which is 120, and that's a Gaussian. So they are actually, this formula of half of n plus 1 is not like an exact formula for this distribution. Yes, we can use the half of n plus 1, but the actual value that is supposed to be half of that frequency, direct as it is, which means we're talking of half of 120, which is going to be 60. So we're talking about the position, the 60th position on your graph. What is the answer that corresponds to the 60th position? So we are going to point 60. This is where we have our 60 here. So at 60, what is the corresponding value at that 60? So if you have to cross-check, we're going to mark definitely using your ruler straight to the graph. Okay, it's mark using your ruler straight to the graph. Where you meet the graph down to the point here on the horizontal axis, down to the horizontal axis, this is going to correspond with 15. So it's actually going to be at 15. But if you are to use half of n plus 1, then it is going to be something else different from this part. But this one, our answer is going to be at 15. So, all right, so that means our median is supposed to be 15. But depending with, if you use n plus 1, it's going to be somewhere around 15.1 or 15.2. Okay, so like I'm saying that you're supposed to be specific about this part. Which part are you going to use? Because actually for the median and this half of the distribution, some books, they actually use half of n plus 1. Some books, they just use half of n. So it depends with the formula that you're going to use there. Okay, then the upper quartile, that's 3/4 of the distribution. So that is your upper quartile. So it's 3/4 of n. So if you use n plus 1, then it's fine. But if just 3/4 of n, our n in this case is 120. So that's the exact way of calculating these values. Okay, so 3/4 times 120. 3/4 times 120, which is going to give us 90. So this is going to be at the 90th position. Not to say this is our answer, but at the 90th position, that is where we are going to have our answer. So just like what we did on the previous question, where is the 90th value from our graph? 90 is between 80 and 100, somewhere there. So in between, using your ruler, you draw straight to the graph. Then from the graph now, straight to the horizontal axis. So this is going to correspond with in between 15 and 20 there, that is going to be 50, something like 17.5 in between these two. So it's going to be 17.5. I'm not actually mistaken there. So this is going to be 17.5. Okay, then let's cross-check the other part of the question. Okay, so lecture number 7. Number 7, in the diagram, A, B, C are 3 points on level ground such that the bearing of B from A is 75. So given B from A, okay, that is B from A is 75. So this is the one that we are given here. B from A, this is 3-figure bearing, this A here. This is the angle that we are given of 75 here. Okay, then C from A, C here from A, this is the one that you are given of C from A, this one of 140 degrees. Okay, so the question is calculate BAC, which is this angle that is remaining in between this one. That is the angle that you want to calculate. Okay, so since I know that the whole of this angle is 140, this one is 70, so I just have to subtract 140 minus what? Minus 75 degrees. Okay, so from our calculator, 140 minus 75, that's something like 65 degrees. So this angle inside this triangle is at 65 degrees. So that was the idea of this question. Let's see the other part. Calculate the distance from A to C. So this one, the question is just saying calculate AC. From A to C is just AC or CA. So let's see from A to C. This is what we have here from A to C, this side here. So as you can see, guys, this point corresponds with this angle of 80, and this one, they correspond. 65 correspond with 9. So using sine rule, we can actually use both. This one is the one that that refers to angles which correspond with what? With sides. But take note, you're calculating a side. So I told you that is going to be A over sine A, which is equal to B over sine B. So that is the formula that you're going to use to have whenever you're dealing with sides. If they are angles, therefore you write this sine A on top, the sine B on top, depending with what you're going to have at the end. Okay, so let us apply our formula. Since we want to calculate AC, so it is going to be AC, or you can even just calculate it here, guys, on top, so that we calculate seeing our diagram. Let us just put it here on this platform, on this side, so that we can actually understand seeing from the diagram than working away from the diagram. So we want to calculate AC. This is just item 1, item 2, yes, item 2, this one. Okay, so AC over the corresponding side, which is sine 80, so it's going to be sine 80 degrees, is equal to what we are given. It's 9 over the corresponding sine of the angle, which is 65 degrees. So I want to calculate AC. So what am I going to do? Remove this sine 80, I can cross multiply, or I can just multiply by sine 80 both sides, multiply by sine 80 both sides. What does this part mean? I have to cancel this part. So that means I'm going to be left with AC being equal to 9 sine 80, because this is same as sine 8 over 1. So it's 9 times sine 8, which is 9 sine 80 over sine 65 degrees. At this stage, use your calculator direct. Do not waste time here. Just use your calculator at this stage. All right, so let's see. I want to shift this a little bit. Okay, so that we can use our calculator here. Let's put it here. All right, so we have got 9 sine 80, you have a fraction. It's 9 sine, okay, sorry, here's 9 sine 80 degrees. So this is, make sure that your calculator is in degrees, over sine 65. So this is sine 65. All right. So from this part, you're going to obtain 9,779 or something like that. So it's 9,779, something like that. Then to 3 SF. What are you going to have? That's 1, 2, 3. This 8 is going, this 9 is going to change this 7 into 8. So it is going to be 9,78. Actually, these are kilometers. Yeah, these are kilometers. So that will be our AC. 9,78 kilometers. Okay, so let's cross-check the other part now, which is item 3. Calculate the shortest distance from B to AC. Okay, the shortest distance I told you guys is the distance that you take from a point to a line, and it has to be at 90 degrees. So from point B to AC, we must meet this line AC at 90 degrees, but from what? From B. So let us move from point B. This is what you're going to have here. This is our point B. From this point B to line AC, we don't know exactly where we are going to have it, but it must meet this line at 90 degrees. It doesn't mean it's going to bisect this line. No, it's not like that. It has to meet this line at 90. That is the only thing. So let's say, let's assume this to be X. Let's just say this is X. How are we going to calculate this value of X? Okay, I can play around this triangle. Let's just say here from B to this point, it's E. Okay, using triangle BEC, I want you to see what is happening with triangle BEC here, because we have got this point. We want to calculate this side, and what we see is that we have got 9 kilometers. This one, which is here, 9 kilometers. All we need is to just have an angle inside this triangle so that we can use our trigonometrical ratio. So where are we going to find that angle from? We know that angles in a triangle, they add up to 180 degrees. So which means we are going to play with that part to say angles in a triangle, if they add up to 180 degrees, therefore the angle at C, this one that we see at C here, it is going to be 180 degrees minus the two angles, which is 80 plus 65 degrees. Okay, so that means what are we going to have at the end? We are going to have something like 35 degrees. And so this angle is 35 degrees here. All right, so here we've got 35 degrees, and we want to calculate this distance X. So it's now easier because we can apply our trigonometrical ratios. The shortest distance represented by X according to 35 degrees, that's your opposite, and this is hypotenuse. So which ratio from our SOHCAHTOA? That's our SOHCAHTOA here. Sine, this one, because it has got opposite and hypotenuse, so sine theta is equivalent to opposite over hypotenuse, which is the sine of theta. The theta is the one that you're talking about, the angle here, which is 35 degrees, is equal to the opposite, which is the one that you're calculating, which is your x, over the hypotenuse, and our hypotenuse is 9 kilometers. So from this part, you can cross multiply, play around your number. So it's 1 times x, which is x is equal to, we multiply 9 times sine 35, that is going to give us 9 sine 35 degrees. So x is equal to, from our calculator, 9 sine 35 degrees, 9 sine 35 is going to give us 5,16, something like that, which is to 3SF is going to be 5,16, yeah, something like that, 5,16 kilometers. So therefore, that is our shortest distance here, 5,16 kilometers. That is the one that you are going to have here, 5,16 kilometers. Okay, so it was a matter of playing around with the questions, guys, that you are given, and actually it can work if you are to do that. Okay, the B part, we are now given a circle that we are going to work in from this circle here. In the diagram, PQRS are points on the circumference of a circle center, or POR is the diameter. So take note, from P to O to R is the diameter. And you know that a diameter subtends, or it creates an angle of 90 degrees. So this whole angle at RSP is 90 degrees here from RSP. Then we have got the tangents. SPT, the PT and the ST, these are tangents, and you know that two tangents from the external point of a circle, they are equal in length, and we are given an angle of 72 degrees, and the chords are equal. So take note, these two chords, they are equal. So what does it mean? It means this triangle is an isosceles triangle. SQP is an isosceles triangle, whereby this angle S here is equal to the angle at P, this one that we have, was in an isosceles triangle. Okay, so the first one, calculate PSQ. So how can we have our PSQ? So remember, PSQ, we say this angle and this angle, they're equal. So what are you going to do? Angles in a triangle, they add up 180 degrees. So I'm just going to subtract the 72 degrees from 180. Whatever that I get, I have to divide by 2. Why? Because these two angles, they are equal. Okay, so if we are to have this, that's 180 minus 72, 180 minus 72. Whatever that we get here, we divide by 2, which is going to be 54 degrees. Okay, so here we are going to get 54 degrees. So what does it mean? It means this is 54, and also this whole angle is 54, something like that. Okay, so SRP on the item 2, we need SRP. So where are we going to have our SRP here? This is S to R to P. Okay, so let me just indicate the angle here, SRP, this one. Okay. So which concept are we going to use? From SP, this is a chord. SP, it's a chord. It creates angle at Q. It also creates angle at R. So these two angles are equal. Angles are subtended by the same chord. So that one is going to be direct 72 degrees here. Okay, so this is 72 degrees. Then SPR, SP to R here, that is S to P to R, this one, the part of this angle here, part of this angle. What are you going to do? Okay, take note, guys, we say this is 72 degrees at R. Let me just try to zoom it like this. We say this angle here is 72 degrees, but before we said the whole of this angle at S is 90. So to find this remaining angle P is going to be 180 minus the sum of these two angles, 90 and 72. So it's 90 plus 72, or simply 90 minus 72 degrees, since the remaining angles has to add up to 90 degrees, because we have taken what? We have taken the part of 90 there. So it's going to be simply 90 minus 72, which is going to give us 18 degrees. All right. So this small angle that we see here is 18 degrees. All right. That is what we're supposed to have in this case. Okay. So anyways, that is our SPR 7. It was what? 18. So we say this is 18 degrees. Okay. Then PTS, PTS, let's see. PTS. All right. It's this one from P here to T to S, this angle here. So to find this angle, there are actually so many ways that we can actually use. But which one is going to be the best one that we are going to have? All right, I want you to see something that is happening here. We do not have the other angles like the angles inside this shape. But remember, guys, what I told you, that whenever you're dealing with this, or maybe if I never talked about this, let me explain it from this way. Whenever you're dealing with two tangents from the external point of a circle, it follows that when you join from the S to the center here, from S to O like this, then from P to the center like this, it follows that these two angles that we have, this angle O and this angle S here, if you are to combine these two angles, they must actually give us 180 degrees. All right, sorry for this, guys. This is what I was trying to explain. From this angle that we have here, the relationship that it follows is that this angle here from S to this is going to 90 degrees. Why? It's a tangent and the radius, they meet at 90. Okay. Also here, we've got a tangent and a radius, they meet at 90 degrees. So it follows that these two angles that we see, they are supposed to give us 180 degrees. So as we know that this angle O, we can find this angle O, which means we can find SOP. How can we find SOP? Because this is angle at the center, which is subtended by the chord SP. SP subtends angle at O. It also subtends angle at the circumference of 72. So to find this one, it is going to be 72 degrees times 2, which is going to be something like 144 degrees, from mistaken there. So now I'm saying if this angle here is 144 degrees, therefore to find this one at T, it is going to be STP, or it was PTS, or whatever that it was given as, it is going to be 180 degrees now, minus this 144 that we see here. So that means if we subtract from 180, we are going to obtain 36 degrees as our PTC. So actually that was the idea of the question, guys. As we can see, it's a matter of playing around with the questions, as much questions as we can. That is the idea there. All right, let us move on to question 8. It is given that y varies inversely as the square root of x. So this here just have to write direct as we are given y varies inversely, that is 1 over the square root like this of x. Okay, so if it was the square, this is the square of x. Okay, so the question is, we are given the value of y and x. Find the equation connecting y and x. So remember, from variation sign, you introduce the constant y is equal to k over the square root of x. Now we can substitute the information that we are given. Y is equal to what? 2. When our x is 9, so it's going to be k over the square root of 9. So 2 is equal to k over the square root of 9, which is 3. So we can cross multiply here. 1 times k is going to be k, which is equal to 2 times 3, which is 6. So therefore, our equation now is going to be y is equal to now the k that we are having, which is 6 over the square root of what? Over the square root of x. So this is the equation which connects y and what? A and x. Y is equal to 6 over square root of x. Okay, the item 2, find the value of x when y is equal to a half. So you're given the value of y here to be a half. So it's a continuation that you're going to do from this answer. This time, we are saying y is a half. So a half is equal to 6 over the square root of x. So you want to calculate x. So what can you do? It's an equation. We can cross multiply to remove the fraction. 1 times square root of x, that's square root of x, is equal to 2 times 6, which is 12. So definitely to find or to remove the square root of x here, we have to square both sides. We square here, we square here. So that means x is equal to 12 squared, which is 12 times 12, that is 144. All right, then that was it actually. So this is very simple. The B item 1, show that the logarithm of 3x plus 1 plus log x minus 3 reduces to, okay, this one is a play around type of a question. What am I going to do from this part? Okay, I know that here I'm adding the logarithms. Actually, I'm base in 10 because the base is not written, so it means I'm base 10. I'm adding the logarithms, the base are the same. So which law am I going to use? Log A plus log B is equal to log AB. We multiply the numbers together under the same log. So this is going to give us log, these two multiplied together. So it's going to be 3x plus 1 into x minus 3. Whatever that we get is supposed to give us a 1. So that is it. How do you remove a log? Because this is a single log now. We are in base of 10. Remember, guys, I told you the logarithm of a in base of c is equal to, in base of b is equal to c. That means this a here is equal to b to the power of c in index form. That's how you remove a log, as long you're given a single log. So our a in this case is this part that we see here, which is 3x plus 1 into x minus 3. This is our a, which is equal to b to the power of c. Our b in this case, b to the power of c, that is 10 to the power of what? 1. So it's 10 to the power of 1, which is same as 10. So expand brackets, then you can show that. So it's 3x by x here. That is 3x squared, 3x by minus 3. 3 by minus 3, that's negative 9x. 1 times x, that's plus x. 1 times minus 3, which is minus 3. 10 to the power of 1 is actually 10. So you can transpose. That's 3x squared minus 9 plus 1. This is minus plus 1. So it's going to give us negative 8x. Minus 3, transpose the 10 to that side is negative 10, which is equal to 0. So at the end, we are going to have 3x squared minus 8x minus 3 minus 10, that's minus 13 is equal to 0. So we have shown our equation, and that's 3 marks just to do this, guys, just to apply this. We have got 3 marks. Anyways, that was the question. Hence, solve the equation. A continuation from what we have just calculated now, they're saying solve that equation, giving your answer correct to 1 decimal place. So whenever you're given this condition, there is no way. You're supposed to use your quadratic formula, or you can use completing the square. But mostly, guys, we are used to the quadratic formula. If you can use completing the square, it's fine. You can apply your completing square. You're going to obtain the same answer. But I'm just going to use the quadratic formula because we know that our equation has to be in this format, ax squared plus bx plus c, for us to use the quadratic formula, where a in this case is the coefficient of x squared, which is 3. Our b is the coefficient of x, which is negative 8. And our c is the constant, which is negative 13. So this is what we have. So from our formula, we know that x is supposed to be equal to minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So no matter how you know this formula, you're supposed to write it first. Then you substitute into the formula. Okay, where we are saying x is minus b. So it's going to be minus our b is negative 8. I told you guys there's a mark on this substitution. So substitute everything as it is, which is plus or minus the square root of b squared, which is minus 8 squared. So it's going to be negative 8 squared minus 4a. Our a in this case is 3. And our c is negative 13. So this is what you're going to have. Then everything over 2 times a, which is our a, is 3. So from there, guys, you can simplify now. Plus here, because it's a minus and minus, it's going to be plus 8 plus or minus the square root of. So what I want you to do is to simplify this part under the square root, just this part under the square root, this one that you see here. Okay, what I'm trying to say is, let us put this aside and see what it's going to give us. It's negative 8 squared. So I'm just going to put a bracket here, negative 8 squared minus 4 times 3 times negative 13. Here we are going to obtain 220. All right, so this is going to give us the square root of 220. Okay, so this is going to be 220, everything over 2 times 3, which is 6. So what do I do at this stage? That's where I can separate now these two here. Okay, the plus or minus. So x is going to be 8 plus the square root of 220. The other x that we see is going to be a minus now, or x is equal to 8 minus, now we are now taking the minus part. Okay, so make sure that on separating this part, the square root is there. Okay, but you're simply taking what the negative here. So let me just save this a little bit. Okay, so I think we are good to go. So it's going to be negative square root of 220 here over 6. Then from there, it's now you and your calculator here. Just on your calculator, you have the fraction that you're going to put the square. So some of you guys have put DAL, where you just have to use 8 plus the square root of 220. You close the bracket, then you divide by what? By 6, which is something like 3,8, something like that. Then we are given that to 1 decimal place. So at 1 decimal place, this 0 is not going to affect anything. So it's going to be 3,8. So x is equal to 3,8, or x is equal to what? The other one, we just put a negative. Yes, I'm just going to put a negative, remove this plus and put a negative. That's negative 1,1. So you write everything, then C is going to be negative 1,1. Okay, so this is negative 1,1 to 1 decimal place. Okay, so these were the two possible values of x that we're going to obtain from our question that we're given here. So guys, as you can see, some of these questions, guys, a matter of play around the questions and understand what you're given. Okay, question number 9 is now a vector. M, in the diagram M, M is the midpoint. Okay, so this M is a midpoint, which means it's half from what? A to C, which means from A to M, and M to C is actually half here. And we are given A, B is A, from A to B is A, then A, C is B. Then Bn, from B to N, we are given a ratio that Bn is equal to a third of BC. Okay, the first part, not wasting much time, is to express the given vector in terms of A and or B, vector BC. So actually to find vector BC, all we need is to just have a route that you're going to take from B to C. Okay, maybe I can just work it aside on this side here. So this is BC. So from B to C, which route can we take? B to C, we can take BA plus AC. So this is going to be BA plus AC, which means from B to A, we are opposing the arrow going this way. So it's going to be negative A plus AC. You are following the arrow as it was, so it's going to be a plus B. Okay, so this is our vector BC. Then the other one is Bn. Okay, so now we need vector Bn, but already we are given the relationship between Bn here to say Bn is equal to a third of BC. That is what you are given here. Bn is equivalent to a third of BC, and we calculated BC here, so it means it is going to be a third of this BC that we got, which is minus A plus B. So you can leave it like that, or you can expand the brackets, which is a third times minus A, that's minus a third times B, which is going to be a third B. So this is our vector Bn. All right, so I think this one is clear. We have got our Bn, then the other question is An. So An, this one is actually a continuation. Sorry, here it's actually a continuation, A to N. Since we've got Bn here, to find An, which is our item 3 here. So to find An from A to N is going to be AB plus Bn, because we now have this Bn. So An is going to be AB plus Bn. All right, that is what you're going to have in this case. All right, a little bit. Okay, so anyways, what is our AB? Yet can't write because there's this information. Okay, so AB is A to B. We are following the direction now, so it's going to be a plus. Okay, A. Then Bn is the one that we calculated here. This is our Bn, the one that we got here. Remember, guys, we calculated Bn, which is minus a third A plus a third B, which is a third 1 over 3B. Then from there, this is just 1, guys. This is 1, 1, 1. So you're subtracting 1 minus 1 over 3. So 1 minus 1 over 3 is 2 over 3A plus 1 over 3 vector B, like that. So we've got our An. Okay, so seems easier. All you need is to have much questions as much as we can, revise as much as we can. Okay, anyways, what about the other question? Let's see the other question. Bm, from B to M. That is our item 4. Bm, Bm, Bm. All right, let's just have it here. Item 4. So from B to M, which route are you going to? Remember, we're told that M is the midpoint. So I want to move from B to M. I can simply move from B to A, then A to M, because it's just half there. So it's BA plus AM. Okay, so that's what I'm going to have here. From B to A, I'm opposing the arrows, so it's negative A plus AM, which is half of AC. So that one is just half of B because it said its midpoint is just half. So in this one, it's one, the other one is also, it's just a half consideration that we are having there. Okay, so we have our B to M. Then let us see the other question that we are given, which is on item 5. Okay, I think I wrote. Okay, let me see here. Item 5. Where is that item? Where is my item 5 now? Okay, guys, as you can see, I don't know what happened with this question paper. There is no item 5. There is no item 5. What happened? All right, let me cross-check the other pages. Maybe I just... Okay, see, okay, see here. Okay, here on top here, that's where it is. I don't know what actually happened. Okay. On this item, we are now given that BX, okay, is given as HBM, okay? BX is HBM. Express AX in terms of this. Okay, so the first thing is that we are given that BX. Do we have the BX so far? Okay, this is what we are not supposed to ask ourselves. So since we are told that BX is equal to HBM, so let's cross check. Do we have BM? Did we calculate BM before or never? So that is the question, B to M. So BM is the one that we just calculated now, this one. This is our BM. Remember, we calculated our BM here. So BM was minus A plus half B. So we are supposed to multiply that one. So it's supposed to be multiplied to mine because we are saying it's HBM and our BM here it's minus A plus half B. That was our vector. So you multiply by H, which is going to be minus HA. H times this one is going to be half HB. So the first thing is to find what you are being given. Then you express now what you are being asked to express. So the question is for us to express vector BAX. So we need to find AX using this BM, that the BX here has to be part of the road because it's the only part that has got H. So how are we going to find AX but BX is involved? Okay, this is what you're going to do. We want to calculate this one from A to X, but BX is involved. So it's going to be AB plus BX. Okay, so that one is going to be AB plus BX. That is the route that you're going to take, such that from A to B, we are taking now the one from our graph, from the diagram, sorry, from our vector that we are given. Let's see, A to B, we are maintaining a positive here. AB is a positive A. All right, so AB, it's a positive A. Let's just hope it's not going to affect us, guys. Now there's a too much. Okay, so it's A plus BX. This is our BX here, which you said is minus HA plus 1 over 2 HB. All right, so from this part, as we can see, A is common here, so you can factor out vector A like this. So if I factor out vector A, I'm going to be left with 1 minus H because it's going to factor out the vector which is common plus half HB. So this is half HB like that. So this part is going to remain as it is. So that's your vector AX. Okay, so I think this part is clear. The other part we are also given also that AX is equal, we are given another condition now to say the same AX that we are talking about, now it is equal to KAN. Do we have vector AN or have we calculated vector AN before? That is the question. Let's cross check. Have we calculated this vector AN before? Okay, we are talking about AN. We calculated this vector. This is what we got here from AN. We got 2 over 3A plus 1 over 3B from this one. So this is the one that you're going to use because we need vector AN. So we have to multiply that one by K. I think it's going to be easier that way. Okay, let's see. Okay, so we said KAN here. So it's going to be K times, remember our AN, we said is 2 over 3A plus 1 over 3B. It was 1 over 3B. Check your answer there. So if we multiply by K, it's going to be 2 over 3 KA plus K times 1 over 3 is going to be 1 over 3 KB. Okay, so here, guys, let me just try to save a little bit. So that is 1 over 3 KB. So we start with the 1 over 3, the constant, then the vector B. Okay, so this is your vector AX. The D part, using the results of B and C to find the value of H and K. These are the results of what? B and C. This, we got AX here and AX. So they're just saying use these two X that we have to find the value of H. So guys, I told you that whenever you're given this type of equation, formulate equations that you're going to use from there. Okay, so you just have to formulate equations. So this is our D. How do I formulate? I equate the A to the A here, which means I'm simply taking here from our A. What is affecting A here? It's 1 minus H. It must be equal to what is affecting A on the other hand, which is 2 over 3K. You move on to B. This is what is affecting B, which is half H. So you're doing half H is equal to what is affecting vector B here. It's a third K, like that. So this is a third K. So these are your equations. If how we are going to solve, it's up to you. Which method are you going to use? That one is up to you. You can clear fractions, it's up to you. I don't know what you're going to do to solve, but this part now is up to you to solve. Okay, so as for me, I was just going to clear fractions, multiply by 3 here, multiply by 3 here. So what does it mean? I'm going to be left with 3 times 1, which is 3. I'm still on D. 3 times minus H, which is minus 3H. This can cancel, which means I'm going to obtain 2K. So I formulated a linear equation without fractions. I do the same here. I can just cross multiply here by 3 this side, by 3, by 2 this side. So it's going to be 3 times H, which is 3H. So I'm going to obtain 3H is equal to 2K if I do cross multiply, okay? So I can actually transpose this equation, okay? Here I can transpose, depending with which side I want. I can take this way to this side so that I can have this one as 2K. The minus 2H to this side is going to be plus 3H. Okay, which is equal to what? Which is equal to 3. Then from this one, I can also transpose, which means I'm going to be left with the 2K. If I transpose the 3H to this side, it is going to be minus 3H, which is equal to 0. Okay, so that means I can eliminate, because I've got two equations, I can eliminate K or H. To eliminate K, I have to subtract here. 2 minus 2, that's a 0. 3 minus minus is a plus, so it's going to be 6H is equal to 3 minus a 0, which is 3. So divide by 6, divide by 6. So that means our H is going to be 1 over 2. We're having the value of H. To find K, I'm going to substitute any one of these. Remember here we said 3H is equal to 2K. So since 3H is equal to 2K, I have the value of H, which is 1 over 2. So it's going to be 3 times 1 over 2, which is the value of H, which is equal to 2K. So how can I find K? Okay, I can just cross multiply whatever that I'm going to have. So here it's going to give us 3 over 2 is equal to 2K over 1. So you can cross multiply. That will be 1 times 3, which is 3 is equal to 2 times 2, which is 4K. So to find K, divide by 4, divide by 4. So our K is going to be 3 over 4. That is our K. So this one was actually direct question, play around type of a question. You've got the value of H, you've got the value of K. So like I said, I don't know how you're going to solve this, but these are the answers that you're supposed to get from this part. So yeah, it's up to you how to solve these simultaneous equations. Actually, it's up to you. I don't know which method is best for you. Remember, simultaneous equation, guys, it's your method that is best. Okay, the 10th question. The following is a table of values for the function. So here, guys, we do not want to waste much time. Remember, to find the value of P and Q, you have to substitute when X is minus 1, substitute minus 1 in place of what? In place of X. That is, we do not want to spend much time. So here we're going to obtain a 0 here. And here we're going to obtain 4. Okay, so that one, we have to substitute. And after that, what is the question now to draw? Definitely here we must be drawing this graph using a certain scale, which is here. It's draw the graph of 2x plus whatever that we have, the 4 marks on the same axis. So what was the scale? Let us cross-check the scale. It was using a scale of 2 centimeters to 1 unit on both axes, on both, take note here, 2 centimeters to 1 unit on both, from -3. So these numbers should be there on your graph. Okay, so this is what I was going to have at the end, something like this. Okay, so we're going to mark from this one. This is the one that we're going to use. Okay, so from this, guys, let us mark the first point. Let us get back to our table. So our table is -1, -2, -5. All right, so you need -2, -5. All right, -2 here and -5. Okay, so that's -2, -5. You mark your point, -2, -5. All right, so guys, it's going to take time because we've got 2 pages in between. So it's -1 versus 0 here. So you're done with this one. We move on to -1, 0, 0, 3. Okay, -1, 0, and 0, 3. Okay, that's -1, 0 here. And the other one is 0, 3. That is when x is 0. Y is 3. So guys, you just have to mark your points properly. Okay, so this one is 0, 3. What about 1? Right, let's see. So we've got 1, 4. So this one 0, 3. So we've got 1, 4, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 4, and 2, 3. 1, 4, and 2, 3. Okay, so this is our 1, 4 here. Okay, let me have it here. When x is 1, y is 4, so this is 1, 4, and the other one was 2, 3. 2, 3 is somewhere here. That's our 2, 3, and the other one definitely is going to be 3, 0 there. Okay, anyways, let's see. Okay, 3, 0, and 4 minus 5. Okay, so for 3, 0, and 4 minus 5. 3 versus 0 here, 4 versus -5, 4 versus -5 somewhere here. Okay, so this is 4 and -5 somewhere here. All right, so that was for 2 centimeters represented 2. So these were the part that we are going to have, but not that much clear because, guys, it has to go up to those points. So as you can see, guys, this one was not going to be that. So look at how these points are separated from this point. So anyways, guys, we have to join. So here I'm just going to join so that it can help us, but this one is not going to be smoother the way that I'm gonna expect it because these points, they are far. So I'm going to join here to 3. It's not gonna work out. Okay, let me try. I have to try. These points, they're actually too far from each other. So what you do is that you can join in between the 3.5, maybe somewhere there, so that it can help. Okay, guys, but if we do this, it's gonna, let me just try to force things work. So I'm just going to join, but make sure yours is a smooth curve, very, very smooth, not crossy, very smooth, not crossy here. All right, so it's going to be something like this. Or you can use the idea that I used on the November 2012 question where I talked about finding other points, but yes, it was going to be much time wasted, guys. But anyways, your graph was going to be a little bit like this. I don't know exactly how it's going to be, but that was what you're going to have. And always write down the equation of the graph that you're given, which is, what was the equation of the graph? Okay, let's see this part. Draw the graph of what? Y is equal to 2x plus 3x plus 3 minus x squared. So it's 2x, y is equal to 2x plus 3 minus x squared. You write down the equation. Okay, so that is it from our graph. And the other part of the graph is on the same axis, draw the line of y is equal to minus x. So how do I draw the line of y is equal to minus x? I just need table values for this one. To have the graph of y is equal to minus x, you can just have a table values. Y is equal to minus x. So we are simply saying for the values of x, if your x is -1, okay, let's just have our x and y here. So if x is -1, if x is 0, if x is 1, that's what you can actually have. So when x is -1, if you substitute -1, minus and minus is a plus. 0 does not change. When x is 1, if you substitute 1, it's going to be minus times 1, which is -1. So these are the points that actually are going to mark -1 versus 1. That's somewhere here. -1 versus 1, 0, 0, then 1 and -1. So these are the points that you're going to have. And all you need is to join using the ruler. Definitely, this is a straight line. Whenever you're dealing with a straight line, apply your ruler. That's the idea there. So I think it's clear. All you need is to join these points. Make sure they are in a straight line. Okay. So you can actually, sorry for this, sorry for that, guys. So when joining That points, the line that you're going to have is what? A little bit enough. Okay, so this is a straight line. Join your points up to the last one, just like that. All right, so this is where we've got y is equal to minus x from the graph. So you just have to join the 3 points that we had from that part. Okay, what about the other part of the question? The question is now solve this equation. So guys, this one is just nothing else because here, the minus x squared plus 2x plus 3, it was the equation that we had before this one. These are the still that we had this one. It's just they changed here. Minus started with minus x squared, followed by 2x, followed by what? By 3. So as you can see, this is your y. So they're saying y is equal to minus x, and you drew the y is equal to minus x. So where do this part 2 meet? That is where we're going to have our solutions. So what does it mean? From our graph here, where this graph meets with what? With the graph drop to the x-axis, where these points meet with the graph, draw that one to the x-axis. So straight with your ruler to the x-axis, the values of x that you're going to have there in the x-axis are your solutions. All right, so the first one actually here was going to give us negative 0.8, negative 0.8 somewhere there, and another x that you're going to have was going to be 3.8. So guys, I don't know what that's supposed to be, somewhere there. So those are the values of x that you're going to take. And lastly, we are now given the area bounded by the curve, the lines x is equal to 0, x is equal to 1, y is equal to x. Okay, so it's bounded by the curve. Okay, this is our curve. X is equal to 0. We are talking about what? This is our x is equal to 0 here, which is you're talking about the y-axis. And the line of x is equal to what? X is equal to 1. So we've got x is equal to 1 and y is equal to minus x. I want you to see what is going to happen. This is x is equal to 1, where the graph is going to be like this. Okay, this is where x is equal to 1 here. Okay, so all you need is your ruler here, but I'm just going to indicate like this, but you're supposed to use your ruler. So at x is equal to 1 like this, and with the line y is equal to x. So this is the region that you're going to be left with here. You're going to be left with this region here. All right. So remember, guys, I told you whenever you're calculating area is the number of boxes over 100 times area of unity square times the area of the unity square, which is the unity square is the first box, which is 1 and 1 here. All right. So count these boxes, and we need to know actually how many boxes are there here from this region. Okay, so actually, when I calculated this there was something like 420 there. So it's going to be 420 over 100 times the area of the unity square. This is 1 and 1, so it's going to be 1. So if you simplify properly, this is going to be 4.2 square units, or you can write it as 4.2 square units in words. It's actually one and the same thing. So guys, I really need you to revise as much questions as you can. Actually, it can help as we are moving forward. All right, but that was actually what we had. So this question here is a play around type of a question. Very, very play around type of a question here, where you need to understand the basic part of the question that you're given. All right, so number 11, that's a solid that you're given. So let us see what we have here. All right, so here we're given that the diagram shows a solid aluminum or alloy a casting for a pulley which consists of 3 discs. So take note, there are 3 discs, as you can see, first one, second one, and third one, which is 1.5 centimeter thick. The diameters is 4, 6, 8, and respectively. So as you can see, the 4 is the one on top here. It's going to be 4. The 6 is this one. From here to here is going to be 6. Then the 8 is going to be this one, which is going to be 8. So it's 4, 6, 8, something like that. Okay. Meaning to say the first one, it has got a radius. Remember, from diameter, we can get the radius. So or actually, radius is diameter over 2. So it's going to be a radius of 2. 4 divided by 2. Then this one, 6 divided by 2, which is 3. Then here, the radius is going to be 4 from 8 divided by 2, which is going to be 4 centimeters. Okay. Then with a central hole, 2 centimeters in diameter. So there's a central hole here, that is one that we see here. There's a hole which is there, which is this hole is a cylinder, this one. Okay, so the hole that we are seeing we are given that the diameter of this hole is what is 2 centimeters. That is from this point to this point, there's a diameter of 2 centimeters. So which means for the hole that we are going to have, which is what? Which is a cylinder. So a hole in this case is a cylinder. It has got a radius of 1 because it's going to be diameter over 2, which is going to be 1 centimeter. Okay, so the question is, calculate for this one, we are asked to calculate the volume of the what? Aluminium used to make the casting. Okay, so in this case, what are we going to have? That is the question. Okay, so remember there's a thickness that we have of 1.5 in this case. In this case, that is the thickness that we have. So it's actually, that is the height from each, the thick, that is from this one. Sorry, let me indicate properly so that it can work. So here, this is the thickness, which is the height. Okay, let me just save a little bit, guys. All right, I think we are done. So here we've got the thickness. This is your thickness, the height from each. It is 1.5. Remember, the thickness is 1.5, which is 1,5. So it's 1.5, which is 1,5. Also here, there's a thickness of 1,5. Also here, a thickness of 1,5. So at the end, we are going to notice that this one is the end for the cylinder. Now we are going to have the height of the cylinder because it will be 1,5 plus 1,5 plus 1,5, which is simply 1,5 or 1.5 times 3, which is 9/2 or 4,5. So which means this cylinder is going to have 4,5 like that. Okay, so the volume of the aluminium, we're going to calculate the volume of each disc, this one plus this one plus this one. Then we subtract this cylinder that we have. Okay, so that means we are going to have something like this nature. Remember, a disc is actually a cylinder also, and the volume of a cylinder, remember guys, is pi r squared h. So that means we are going to have something like this, guys. The first one, so our volume is going to be the first cylinder, pi r squared, which is take pi, what are we given as our pi? Remember, we use the pi that we are given to use in the question. Are we given the value of pi here? Okay, we are not given the value of pi. So which means you use the pi that is on your calculator. Since you are not given the pi, you just use the pi on your calculator. Remember, on your calculator, there's a pi there. That is the one that you use. Okay, so anyways, it is going to be pi r squared. So your volume is going to be like this. All right, there will be a lot of things here. Pi r squared, so it's going to be pi times r, which is the radius, because you're not given pi, so use the one on your calculator, okay? So the radius squared, because we said pi r squared, so the first one on top, the radius is 2. So it is going to be 2 squared times the height now, which is the thickness, which is 1,5 or 1.5, so it's 1,5. So this is the first plus, we move on to the second one. This one, our radius is 3, so it's going to be pi r squared, which is pi times 3 squared times the height. The height is not changing, which is the thickness, is 1,5 also. So it's 1,5, all right, plus another one is going to be having a thickness of 1,5, but the radius is 4. So it's going to be pi times 4 squared times the thickness of 1,5. So this here gives us all the cylinders which are on top of each other. Then we subtract a hole, because there's a hole here, which is this cylinder. So it is going to be pi times r, which is our radius. We said our radius is 1. So it's going to be 1 squared times the height. We've got 1,5 plus 1, which gave us 4,5. So this is the height now. So that's what you're going to subtract. Just like that, guys, we have got our volume. Okay, so that means we have to calculate this part separately. If we do that here, we're going to have 4 times 1,5, 4 times 1,5, which is what, 6, 4 by 1,5, that's 6. So it's going to be 6 pi plus, you simplify this part, you're going to obtain 13,5 pi plus this one, which is going to give you 24 pi. So that is 24 pi here. All right. So that is it minus this part here. So it's 4,5 pi, because a number times 1 is 1. So it's going to be 4,5 pi. So what I'm saying, guys, you're going to use your calculator, okay? On your calculator, this is what you're going to have, 6 pi like this, 6 Then you use the pi on your calculator. So mine is like this. Okay, plus 13,5 pi. You do the same, plus 24 pi, plus 24 pi, minus the other one, which is 4,5 pi. So it's minus 4,5 pi. Okay, like this. So it's going to be 39 pi. So this is going to be 39 pi. Okay, I've written it already here. Okay, so let me write it where I've written it already. So it's 39 pi here, but you can write this in simplest form. On your calculator, you can just change here, which is going to be 122,5, something like that. So it's 122,5 cubic centimeters. So that's our volume in this case. All right, so that was it, guys. Then the mass in grams, whereby we are given that it has got a density. Okay, so remember, guys, I told you about the MDC or the MDV. Here we have got mass, density, and volume. So what do I want is the mass. So mass is density times volume. So that's what we have. So mass here is equal to density times volume. So already I'm given the grams per cubic is fine here. So I'm going to have 2,8 grams per cubic centimeters times the volume, which is the volume that we got here of 122,5. Okay, so what are you going to have at the end? 2.8 by 122,5. That is something like 343. So you're going to have 343 grams. All right. Then the third part is the total price of the casting. If the alloy cost $7.50 per gram, guys, take note, each gram, it costs $7.50. What about this mass that we have of 343 grams? What is the equivalent amount? So that's it. So we can play around this. It's going to be 343. It's going to be more here. So it's 343 over 1 times $7.50. All right. So if we multiply this, let's see 343 times $7.57.5 is going to be 2,572.5. So it's 2,572.50 because this is money, so it's supposed to be 2 decimal places after the comma. All right, just like that. That was it, just like that, guys. Okay, so let's see the other part of the question. Okay, this was another part. It's no longer part of this one. It's another question. On the B, we are given that there is a triangular plot. It's a triangle, this one. So this is a plot that we are talking about. It's a triangle like this. Of its boundaries, 2 boundaries are measuring 400 by 400 meters by 440 meters. With an included angle. Guys, I talked about the included angle. If you still remember when I talked about the cosine rule and I said included angle is an angle that is in between the given sides. So these are the sides that you are given. So the included angle is found between those sides. So that is where our 46 degrees is located. So the question is calculate the area of the plot, but this answer has to be in hectares. All right. So you calculate your area, that's the first thing that you're going to do. Then the conversion to it later on, you know that it's a non-right angle triangle. We've got half AB sine theta. So our area is going to be half times 400 times 440 times sine of the theta, which is sine 60 degrees. All you need is our calculator. That's 1/2 by 400 here by 440. By sine 60 degrees like that. All right, so simplify this, what you're going to get, guys. If we are not mistaken, this is 46. Where am I getting the 60 degrees, guys? Where am I getting this 60 degrees? Okay, this is 46 degrees. I hope someone saw that and was saying, what is actually happening here? Okay, anyways, this is 46. Actually, I don't know what happened there. Just writing error. So it's 46 here. All right. Okay, something like that. 6,3. Okay, let me just write it here. So we are going to obtain 633. That was 3301. So it's 01, 9, just comma 9 here, round off here, it's gonna be comma 9 square meters. Okay, so our answer is in meters because these are meters, so it's going to be square meters. So how do you find now the answer in hectares? Remember guys, in a hectare, we have got 10,000 square meters. What about this part? So you simply divide, because you're given this, so you divide by 10,000, your answer is going to be in hectares. So if you divide by 1,000, this answer here, divide by 10,000, here is going to be 6,33, something like that. All right, so this is going to be 6,33 hectares. So that is our answer for this one. So as you can see, guys, it was a matter of your conversion between square meters and hectares. The conversion part was important. Okay, anyways, I think that's it, done. All right, then this is actual transformation. Okay, so this one we're given a scale to use and to draw the triangle, this and that. Okay, so that was number 12. So here I already drawn the first triangle, because we're given the first triangle, this one, triangle P. Okay, so let's just hope it's clear. Let me see. Let me see if it is going. So I have drawn the triangle P, this one. So we are focusing with the P, this triangle P. This is the one that we are focusing with. Okay, so let's get back to what is happening now. On this part, we are now given that triangle P that we have just talked about. It was mapped onto Q. So the Q by enlargement of factor to center about the origin, that is center the origin. So guys, I told you whenever you're given, it's easier for you to use the matrices, guys. Why? Matrix times object gives you the image. What is the matrix for enlargement? We know that it's Cook, K, 0, 0, K, like this, where K is the scale factor, which is -2. So we are going to have our matrix as -2, 0, 0, -2, like this, times the object. This is your object, which is a triangle P. So it's going to be 1, 2, 1, 4, and 2, 4. So row by column, guys, you do your multiplication. -2 times 1 is -2. So as you can see, 0 is going to affect everything. So it's going to be 0, 0, 0, 0. So it's -2 times 1, which is -2, -2 times 2, which is -4. We are done. We move on to this one. 0 times, as you can see, 0 is going to affect the top part. This -2 is going to affect the bottom part here. So it's -2 and 2, which is -4, -2 and 4, which is -8, -8, like that. Okay, so these are the coordinates of the triangle. -2, -4, -2, -8, and the last one, -4, -8. Remember, guys, you are just taking the coordinates now as this. So with these coordinates, let us mark and draw our triangle. So we said -2, -4. So this is -2, -4 at this point. You mark your point. The other one was -2, -8. All right, so that was -2, -8. You mark your point again. The other one was -4, -8, -4 here, and -8. You mark your point also. So with the points, guys, all we need is to join them just like that. All right, so let's join our points and see what you're going to have at the end. This is the image after we have done the transformation of enlargement. So guys, yeah, okay, let me just draw exactly where it's supposed to be, somewhere here. So that's it. We move on to the other one. We just joined. So yes, just a matter of joining the points, right? So that we can formulate our triangle. So that's it. The last one. All right, so I'm just going to rotate this here like this. Okay, then we join the last one like that. Okay, so what is the name of the triangle? This is triangle Q. So you write inside the triangle Q. Not points, you're just writing the whole triangle. It's what? That's your triangle Q. All right, so that was the first part of the question actually that we're given. So we've got the Q now. All right, let's see the other part of the question. All right, do we have anything here? We do not have. So let us move on to the other part here. On this side, on the other part, triangle P is mapped onto R by translation through -3, 5. Draw and label triangle R. So guys, we know that if we are dealing with a translation, it's actually a movement that is going to happen. Each and every point is going to be transformed. So remember, guys, your translation, I told you whenever you're given a translation, remember translation vector is equal to image minus object. So it's TV is equal to image minus object. So this time you want to find the image. So you're going to transpose the object there. So it is going to be translation vector plus the object in order for you to have what? To have the image. All right. So that means we are going to calculate the images of each and every point. Okay. So we start the first point. Remember, our first point was 1, 2. So guys, you take those points. Let me show you. These points here, just write these points, okay? So the first point is 1, 2. We add the vector to the last one. So the first point was 1, 2. So it's going to be 1, 2 plus the translation vector, because we are saying object plus translation, or translation vector plus object, whatever that you're going to do. The vector is minus 3, minus 5. So it's minus 3, minus 5, like this, you add. So if we add 1 plus minus 2, 1 plus minus 3, that's minus 2. 2 plus minus 5, that's minus 3. So which means that is our first image, which is minus 2, minus 3. You move on to the other point. The other point, it was 1, 4. So it's 1, 4 again, plus the translation vector, minus 3, minus 5. So you add 1 plus minus 3, that's negative 2. 4 plus minus 5, that's negative 1. So this point is going to be negative 2, negative 1. Okay, we move on to the last point. Remember, it was 2, 3. All those points, as they were, each and every point you add to the translation vector so that you can get the image. So 2 plus minus 3, that's minus 1. 3 plus minus 5, that's minus 2, if I'm not mistaken there. So it's going to be minus 1, minus 2. Okay, so these are the points now that you're going to mark on your graph so that you can have your image. Okay, so remember the first point was minus 2, minus 3. So that's minus 2, minus 3 in between here. All right, the other point, minus 2, minus 1. Remember, it was minus 2, minus 1, which is somewhere here. Okay, the other point was minus 1, minus 1. Minus 1 here, minus 1 somewhere here, like this. All right, so all we need is to join our points, guys, so that we can have our image. So I'm just going to join the points. All right, so that's it here. That's it. All right, so let's join these two also. And the last one. Right, like this, just like that, you're done. So that was our image in this case. Okay, what is the name of this image? It's called R. So this is our image, which is called R. Okay, so that was the triangle R in this case. You're done. Let's move on to the other one. Okay, after triangle R, what are we given? Draw triangle N. Take note, guys. Draw triangle N. The image of P under the transformation represented by the matrix. Take note, we are given the matrix. This is 1 minus 1. So that matrix, guys, we never saw that type of a matrix in transformation, but that is none of your business. Use the matrix that you are given as it is. Whether you know this matrix in transformation or you do, as long as you are given a matrix, you know that matrix times object must give you the image. That is what you know. So the matrix was given as 1 minus 1, 1, 1, like this. And we don't have such a matrix, but this is the one that you're given. Use it as it is. You multiply to where? To the object. You are back to those points on the object of P there, guys, these ones. You write them as they are. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 4, and so on up to the last one. So this is what you're going to do. Let us write them here. So the first one is 1, 2. The other one, it was 1. Okay, what is the image, guys? Let us these points P. Okay, that's our P. Let's get back and see the second one. Okay, it's 1, 4, and 2, 4. 1, 4, and 2, 4, if I'm not mistaken. All right. 1, 4, and we say the other one is 2, 4. Okay. 1, 4, and 2, 4 here. All right, so we've got 1, 4, and 2, 4. Okay, so I have the coordinates. So now let us do a multiplication row by column. So it's going to be 1 times 1, which is 1, plus 1 times 2, which is 2. We move on, 1 times 1, which is 1, plus 1 times 4, which is 4. 1 times 2, which is 2, plus 1 times 4, which is 4. Move on to this row now, back to those columns. It's -1 and 1, which is -1 plus 1 times 2, which is 2. -1 times 1, which is -1 plus 1 times 4, which is 4. -1 times 2, which is -2 plus 1 times 4, which is 4. So you can add, that's 3, 5, 6, 2 minus 1, that's 1, 4 minus 1, that's 3, 4 minus 2, that's 2. So these are the coordinates that you're going to mark 3, 1. So we're going to have 3, 1, 5, 3, and 6, 2. So, okay, let me just save a little bit so that it can save, guys. All right. So I just hope it is done saving. Okay, just a little bit, guys. It's gonna. All right, so that's yes in the 6, 2. So with these coordinates, you mark them, then you can draw the graph. Okay, so let us mark our points. Say the first one is 3, 1. That is 3 here between 2 and 4. So 3 versus 1 somewhere here. Okay, the other one is 5, 3. 5 in between here, 5 versus 3 in between 2 and 3 there. 2 and 4, that is 3. Then the other one is 6, 2. 6 versus 2 somewhere here. Yeah, that is 6, 2. Okay, so as we can see, guys, that's what we got. Whether we know this matrix or we do not know, that one is none of our business. Let us just use the matrix as it is. So don't fight with the question, understand the question and answer the question. We are good to answer any type of a question. Okay, anyways, let us join here. And I have something like this. All right. Also here, this one. All right, somewhere there. All right, something like this. All right, so I have my triangle. And what is the name of this triangle? What was the name? Let us check the name of our triangle. So this triangle was triangle N. Draw and label triangle N. So we are going to name it N inside here. We're going to name it N. All right, just like that, we are done. So that is how it was going to look like. Yeah, something of this nature. Yeah, this was a nice type of a question or transformation, guys. Okay, the last part, E, which is triangle S at these vertices, draw and label triangle S. So all you need is to mark your coordinates like what I've done here. This is my triangle S. I have already drawn the points. Okay, then after that, the question now is for us to describe fully the single transformation, which maps P onto S. So it's P onto S, this is E. All right, so P onto S, this is what is going to happen. If we are to cross-check here, guys, we are going to see that actually here, let me put it this way so that you can see, okay, this is our P and S like this. Looking on our diagram, we can see that this cannot be, it cannot be rotation, it cannot be reflection, it cannot be translation. These ones, they are all out. Why? Because we are dealing with isometries. That is where these can be part of our answer. But here, these two are not isometries. And also, enlargement is out. Why? This side here is the same as this side. So enlargement, remember, all sides, they're increased. If enlargement is out, it means also two-way stretch is out. So we are just left with the shear or one-way stretch. Remember, guys, what I told you about shear and one-way stretch. If you join points for shear, the points, they are going to move parallel to the invariant line. For stretch, they'll be perpendicular. So you need to find the invariant line. So how do you find the invariant line? You find if there are two lines that you can extend and they can join. So let us cross-check this line here and this line. As you can see, they can't meet this one because this one will be straight, this one will be straight. The same way this line here that I'm, if you extend, they won't meet, but these two, they can meet this one, and this one, they can meet. Let me just put what I'm trying to say. Let us just say this is this point here and this point. If you join this line, also this point, if you extend these lines, they are going to meet. Where are they going to meet? In the x-axis. Let me show you what I'm trying to say. We extend this line like this. Okay, this is the line that we are already given originally. All right, so I'm going to extend this line. All right, I'm going to extend this line and see what is going to happen here. All right, so if we extend this line, it's going to be like this. We have extended our line. We also extend this one of the other triangle, this one. As you can see, these ones, they meet. Where do they meet? they meet in the x-axis. This is the x-axis. So it means these points that we see, okay, so actually they are meeting at x is equal to 0, guys. So it's the y-axis here, this one. They are meeting here. So they are meeting in the y-axis because x is equal to 0. So they are meeting in the y-axis. Okay. So now how do these points move? If we say our y-axis here is the invariant line, the y-axis. Okay. If we say because we have found our invariant line is the y-axis. So how do these points move according to the invariant line? From this point here to this point, this is the direction. And with the y-axis, you can see that this y-axis, the points are moving this way. So as they meet with the y-axis, they meet at 90 degrees. So that one is a stretch, which is a one-way stretch. That is the only one which allows points to move perpendicular to the invariant line. So this one, it is a one-way stretch. It is a one-way stretch. What do we need from this one? We need the invariant line. Already the invariant line is there. So it's y-axis invariant, y-axis invariant. Then we need the stretch factor, where I told you that the stretch factor is the distance of the image from the invariant line. So over the object from the invariant. So you just take n of the points, okay? So when you are referring to the points, you must find corresponding points in this case. I want you to see something. This point here, this point is the easiest one, and this point, they correspond to each other. So when you say the image from, this is the image from the invariant line, which means from the y-axis, to this point is going to be 2, it's going to be 2 units that you're going to move. So it's 2 over the object from the invariant line. From the invariant line to the object is just 1 unit. So it's 2 over 1, which is going to give you 2. So that's your stretch factor. So you can prove even with this point, this is the image. From the invariant line, how many units is 2, 4. So it's going to be 4 over the object from the invariant line. So from the invariant line, which is the y-axis, to the object, how many units is just 2. So 4 over 2, that is, so you're going to obtain 2, 2, 2, 2 throughout. That is your stretch factor. So this one, it was a stretch, which is a one-way stretch, with the y-axis being the invariant line and the stretch factor being 2. So that's how these questions can be asked. They will ask you to describe the transformation. So all you need is to understand the information that you're given. But anyways, guys, that is how this part was going to look like, or how this question was going to look like, or how we're supposed to answer this question. So guys, that's it for Meson African Motives, working on O-level mathematics. So if you're new, make sure that you become part of the family by subscribing, so that you become part of our family, and also to share our videos to your friends and colleagues so that they also can benefit from this information. Not forgetting to revise, as we know, guys, we do not have time left for these exams that are ahead of time, but we know that as we revise, definitely the good shall come out of it. So anyways, that's it, guys, from Meson African Motives. Till we meet again.